Hello everyone, in today's video, I am going to teach you how to input data into SPSS. For those of you who are familiar with SPSS, we know that SPSS is a statistical tool which is used for conducting quantitative data analysis. So I'm going to use this questionnaire as an example in our case. So this is a questionnaire which was distributed to some respondents who happen to be construction workers. So we are going to input their demographic information into SPSS. What we are interested here is the variables. So as you can see, the variables under consideration have been highlighted in yellow. So we are going to input these variables into SPSS for our analysis. So let me open the SPSS program. So when you open SPSS, this is how the interface looks like. So we are interested in these two tabs, the data view tab and the variable tab. Especially the variable tab is where we are going to input our variables, every information about our variables. This is where we are going to input that information. When we go back to our questionnaire, so we are going to feed every information with respect to our variables into SPSS. So when we go back to SPSS, under each column we see a header. So here we have name, we have type, we have width, decimals, label, values, missing columns, align, measure, and row. Under the name column, we are going to give an ID name to our variable. So to begin, gender, we are going to give an ID name. So let's say we can just put gender over there to represent gender. Age, we can put age to represent age, the ID for age. You would realize that the moment I am done inputting the values, SPSS automatically generates the information in the rest of the columns. You maintain these information which is generated by SPSS, don't change them. It is automatic and usually they are the default settings which SPSS gives. So you just maintain it, don't make any changes over there. The next one is educational background. So we only type education. Why do I type only education? If I try typing educational background, this is what will happen. SPSS will send me an error message that the variable name contains an illegal character because SPSS does not allow you to input space. So we only have to, it's not accepted under the name variable. SPSS does not allow you to input space. So you only have to put one word. So you only put education over there. The next variable is job position. So here we can only put job. The next variable is type of construction firm. So here we can only put, let me say, firm. The next one is length of service with the firm. So that one too, we only put, let's say, L service. Yes, so these are the IDs that we associate with our variables. As I said, automatically SPSS generates the rest of the information under each of these columns. But let's look at something here. We have decimals. We are not interested in these decimals, so we have to change it to 0. We don't need the decimals, so we change everything to 0. And under the labels, we have to give a description to our variables. So here we are talking about gender. So if somebody should take this data and look at gender, what are we talking about gender? So we give a description. So we only indicate gender of the respondent, gender of respondent. and here to age of respondents. So you realize that under this column, SPSS doesn't have a problem with you inputting space because it has been developed in such a way that it's accepted for you to include space under this column. So SPSS does not recognize it as error. So here to educational background. Here now that we are done, under the values, since we are using numeric, we have to change our responses that we are expecting into numeric. So here it is expected that some of our respondents will be male, some of them will be female. So we have to change these words to numeric. So how do we do that? When we come here under the values, you click on this dialog box appears. So we are going to give a value to the gender. So let's say we are going to say those who are going to analyze it. We want SPSS to recognize male as 1. So we add and female as 2 when we are analyzing. So this is how we want SPSS to recognize our data. We want SPSS to recognize male as 1, then 2 as female. So then when we press OK, SPSS registers over it. The next variable is the age. With that one, we are going to assign values to the responses. So we have below 20 years, 20 to 29, 30 to 39, 40 to 49 in that order. The first value is below 20 years, so we are going to assign the value 1 to that variable. So 1, as I said, you can copy and paste. So 2, we only have to copy this, 20 to 29 years. The next one, 3, would represent 30 to 39 years. So after you're done, you click on OK and it registers here. The next one is education. So for education, you have secondary and diploma. So we assign the value 1. We add. The next one is degree. We do the same thing for job, firm, and L service. So let me do a quick one on this. Now the next thing is under this column missing. We don't have any value which is missing, so here we leave it like that. And under the column for this side too, there is nothing significant to do over here. We leave it. It's not really necessary and it's not going to affect the output of our data, so we don't really care so much about this side. And the alignment has to do with, you see, with alignment, when I come to the data view, since I have indicated that it should be aligned right, so when I come to the data view, when I should input values over here, I'll see that it has been aligned on the right. So as you can see it's been aligned on the right. If I should change the alignment to the left, now let's confirm something. You see now it has moved from right to the left side of the column. So this side is also not really necessary, or the same too. We can center it if you prefer it that way. So when you come, you check, now you can see that now the 2 is centered. It's in between the left and the right margins of the column. So alignment doesn't really affect the output of our data, so there is no need, so I can still maintain it to the right. Okay, and when you come to the measure column, this is where you indicate whether your data is a scale variables, they are ordinal variables, or they are nominal. So let me use this opportunity to explain what the scale variables are, what the ordinal and the nominal values are. The scale values, we are talking about a set of values which are quantitative in nature and they are ordered, and you can also find a specific difference between the values. So we are going to check our questionnaire and verify whether they are scale variables, they are ordinal or nominal. So we are going to confirm that. The next one, which is the ordinal variable has to do with when there is an order, but there is no specific difference between the numbers. And the nominal values only has to do with when we assign names, or sometimes we can assign value to names, but it is not really quantitative, just like what we did over here. When we look at the gender, we assign the value 1 to male and the value 2 to female. So here it's not really quantitative in nature, so we can indicate that this one is a nominal set of values. When we come to the age, let's go back to our questionnaire. So the age, we can see that, let me highlight, we can see that the numbers are ordered, and second, there is a specific difference between the numbers. So 20 to 29, the difference is 9. 30 to 39, the difference is 9. 40 to 49, the difference is 9. So here we can indicate that this is a scale variable because the numbers are ordered and there is a specific difference. So here we indicate that a scale. So when we look at education to the same as a nominal set of values, because secondary and diploma is not quantitative, they are all text and it doesn't really affect any values over here. So with the educational background, they are also nominal set of values because secondary and diploma are text and they are not quantitative in nature. So we indicate that this one too is nominal. The job too is nominal. The firm too is nominal. They are all not quantitative in nature, so it doesn't really, there is no order, there is no difference, it's only trying to signify. So they are all not quantitative. The next one, else service to, I think, looking at it, you can see that there is an order. 3 to 5, 6 to 10, 11 to 15 years, 16 to 20 years. You can see that there is an order there and there is a specific difference. So here too, we can change to a scale set of values. So after doing this, then you are done with your data entry into SPSS. So let's check the data view to see whether we have all our information over here. So you can see here we have the variables indicated over here. We have gender, age, education, job, firm, and the length of service indicated over here. So in case we have any values, we just input the values over here. So in our case, since we used 2 to represent female and 1 to represent male, when we click on this, it's going to give us the numbers that When we click on this, it's going to change the values to text as we indicated in the variable view. So let's see. So when I click on it, yes, so as you can see, we indicated or we assigned a value 2 for female responses. We assigned a value 2 under the age column for 20 to 29 years, and we assigned a value 3 for those who are going to respond to postgraduate. So when you do this, that is it. You are done with your data entry and you are good to go. So I believe you've learned something today. Thank you for watching. I believe you've learned how to input data into SPSS. If you have any question, feel free to inbox us with your question in the comment section and we will attend to you.